Begin.
Okay, so our project consisted of making tests, like practicing tests on people, and we did that in different age groups from
5 to 6, 10 to 11, and 17 to 18.
So what was the problem that you guys were trying to discover?
If age affects short-term memory.
Perfect. Continue, please.
Okay, so
What did you have to research?
We researched what was the difference between short-term memory and long-term memory.
What did you learn from that?
short-term memory is how much space the brain can take the memories you have from what you have seen. And research showed that memory can hold more numbers than letters.
Okay.
And long-term memory is how much you can remember things.
Okay. Anything else in your lit review?
We also researched how short-term memory works.
Talk to me about that.
We learned that short-term memory just simply works by looking at something for a short amount of time without having a lot of time to rehearse it and memorize it.
Excellent. And anything else from your lit review that you guys found interesting or that you discovered?
Short-term memory, you memorize it by bits. So like your security number, you don't memorize it by the 9-digit number. You memorize it by 3 or 4.
And long-term memory?
It's just like you're the
That's what you can remember the most. If you look at something for a long time, then you might remember it.
So it's repeated. The long-term is basically from repeatedly being exposed to it, where short-term it's memorizing bits. Okay, that makes complete sense. Talk to me about what your hypothesis was. What did you guys think was going to happen or predict that was going to happen?
We predicted that if age has an effect in short-term memory, then the people that are older are going to have less memorized cards, since our board games consisted of looking at cards upside down, upside facing up, and it had like pictures, and they were at the same order, and they had a minute to, like, we flipped them after that, and then they had a minute to match them as much as they can remember. And we had a picture, well, this picture, and we showed them for 30 seconds as well, and then we covered it up, and they had a minute to write it down. So people that were older were going to have less matches since they're older.
And the people that were younger in the second test, which was looking at the slide and saying how much remember the last, and the older kids were the ones who remember the most.
Awesome.
Some patterns that we saw was that people chose like the butterflies that consisted like on the top of the sections, and the diamonds. That's what they remember.
So they basically remembered the edges and where the match was.
And you saw that consistently across all the ages, or specifically in one age? Really? That's interesting.
They chose the corners.
So was that surprising for you in your data?
Yes.
And your evidence? Was there any other surprising data that you got from this?
We also learned that the little kids, as they were trying to remember where the matches was, they used more than their sight.
Talk to me about that.
They used their hands to like point out where they were and talk to themselves and say where they were.
Interesting.
Another thing we learned was that the older kids, they can't memorize a lot of things because they're just fooling around, and we're like, okay, I can remember this and that. But the little kids, are like middle-aged kids, they're like, okay. And for the little kids, 5 to 6 ages, I think it was, they basically, we tell them, oh, observe it for 30 seconds, but they're like, okay, I see this, and they're like talking it out, and so that's how they remember it.
So the older kids and the middle kids didn't actually talk it out?
No.
Not at all.
The older they were, they felt more confident that they were going to remember, but were the ones that remembered less of them in the matching test.
So I'm hearing some experimental error, especially with your older grades. Talk to me about experimental error that you think may have gone on. Cheaters?
Yeah,
Well, talk to me about cheaters, and talk to me about, I think, maybe focus. You mentioned that with the older kids, so talk to me about both of those things.
Like the older kids, they, do we put Alexis? No. Alexis, as I was turning around the cards, he had his thing like this to still look at where they were.
And for this one, we tested Agustin, and I covered the computer, I turned it around, but he was peeking, and I didn't see that until like the end. So he got the most matches. I think that was because he cheated.
Yeah.
What would you do in the future if I said you get a chance, you have 2 months, you can completely redo this experiment, what would you change?
So something that I would change is testing, like if we're testing an age group, not have all the kids together, because that's how they got distracted. They were like, oh, I'm going to get more than you, yeah.
And they're asking, can I go next?
Yeah, they just don't concentrate.
Okay, what else?
I will say the space they're in and the
Talk to me
amount
about
of people. Well, if we can have them in a room, just that person and concentrate. And I think the time will have an effect too, since at certain times they're more awake than other times.
And were you
they have
testing
more
them at different
energy.
times of the day?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was a source of experimental error as well.
And I will say the distraction around them, so it connects back to the room.
Also, for the little kids, since they saw that other little kids were getting lollipops as we tested them, they were more interested in the lollipop than in actually doing the test.
So that motivated them, but a lollipop doesn't motivate a middle schooler or a high
No.
schooler to, at
That's
all.
why I didn't get none.
How would you connect this to your future? Things you might want to research in the future. If I said to you, pick a career that you're interested in based on this information, what are some things that you might use this information, or that I could use this information that you gathered?
How they try and memorize things.
Okay.
Since Justin
So
said
teachers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, talk to me about that.
how they point at things.
Like the kindergarten teachers could have little kids actually do more hand-on jobs, and the teachers for high schoolers could like have them focus more, since they feel more confident and they play around.
Got it. So you feel like that it definitely impacts how we teach and how we learn based on their developmental.
Yeah.
Excellent. What about, talk to me last but not least, what other connections could this research be used for? What other industries, what other areas? What could you use? I mean, you talked about school. Where else could you use this information?
Maybe.
At home.
How so?
Let's say you decide to be a chef or something, and how if you look at things more by more time, then maybe you can remember more recipes than just by looking at them quickly.
Well, that makes complete sense. I would even think like teaching little kids how to do chores. I think you demonstrate that chunking it up.
Or like teaching the little kids how to say the alphabet, the numbers.
I think so too. What did you guys, just your final piece of information, that was the timer, what do you think you would have changed about this experiment?
Something that I would have changed is like her, Bella, she had Chella in front of her, so, and Chella was like pressuring her, so she got less matches than.
Distraction.
Yeah.
Got it. Did you find anything in any other alliances? Like, did you test any relatives or?
Yeah, we tested her brother, and he also got distracted and didn't get a good score.
Oh yeah, his little brother, he got distracted and was just playing around.
Sorry. So that would have been something. Did you guys take into account IEPs or if kids had learning disabilities at all?
I actually thought of that but I learned that it doesn't really matter because some kids that I know don't do so well at school actually remember a lot more than smart kids.
So it might be something to chart in a survey, but nothing that you felt really impacted the experiment. And you guys, I see your data tables. Were those averages that you guys did?
We did these two are the averages, and these two are the actual
data.
Yeah.
So tell me about the high points in that data, both with the matching cards and the see what you see. What do you notice there?
This one?
Yeah.
Well, here.
No, the one next to it. I'm sorry. Yeah, those two. Tell me about the high points on that data. What were the high points there?
That's like the age they remember the most.
And the age, so you're combining age and how much they remember.
Yeah.
Excellent. I like those two graphs because they show me the low point on the bottom one, the matching cards. What's that low point right there?
The kid didn't get any matches.
Really, none at all. And I see that happened a couple of times. Yeah.
Yeah.
They
It's
remember
when
either
mostly they were
one.
distracted.
Yeah.
Got it. Interesting. Thank you very much, ladies. Very well done. Nicely done. Can I see your research papers with your citations and your data collection, please? Okay. Just open to the citation, please.
The last page, right?
No, sorry, that's works cited. Citation is this, right?
Citations, your works cited page.
Oh, cool.
Yep. And then your notebooks. There's your works cited. Okay, good. Works cited.
I have my
Awesome.
notebook.
This is yours, huh?
Just attach it. I know
This
you
is
guys have your
Jessica's.
notebook. And then where is your, and then you have your notebook data. Where did you guys collect your data? You got it in here, right? So I want you to pull these out and attach them to your form. And then I know you guys
I pulled it out.
You want to explain this? Okay, this is
This is the one she showed you right now.
Oh, well, we also